This is Abby here from Precision Physiotherapy and Hamilton Physio and Rehab. Today we're going to talk about ACL surgery, and one of the most common questions that we get asked is that when can I jog again after my ACL surgery? Of course, there's a lot of factors would play a role in deciding that decision. Usually people do start jogging just after 12 weeks. However, I personally like to take a little different approach in which not necessarily at 12 weeks, but around the 14 to 16 week mark is when we get people to jog back again. Just because one of the important things about ACL is ensuring that the knee has got that stability, and not just by simple tests, but then some objective examination to understand that this knee is not going to go through another ACL or another tweak or another flare up, which is something that we need to be safe about. So some of the tests that I like to do to ensure that the knee is capable enough to be able to be able to jog. One important thing before even we get into talking about jogging is that the knee should have got almost a full range of motion that you'd want to get a test by a clinician or by yourself, and then the weight bearing should not be painful. That means any kind of weight that you put on it, it shouldn't hurt. So these are very preliminary tests. After that, what you want to do is once you get into that 90 degrees of range of motion by sitting on a chair, you could bend your knee a bit, and then you'd want to try and stand up from this position, just like that, and then lower yourself down that way. So a pistol squat, if a person has the ability to be able to do 10 to 12 repetition of this without having to, so what we want to be focusing on is that after here, we're not just falling down. We almost have that control and stability to be able to do this. And also this knee has this ability of not going too far in or going too far forward beyond the level of your toe. And when unsure, you can always try and test it with your other knee. Hopefully that's not, both knees are not has got operated. So that's where you will be able to know what your baseline is and where you want to be at. Second test that I like to do is a heel touch from a step. So in this position, if this is the knee that is operated, I'd like to have that in a step. And then all what you want to do is then try and do a step down like this. Now, when the stability is not there, what you want to be watchful of is the person leaning too far forward to be able to do that, or is staying back, or after about here, the leg tends to just fall down. So, or the heel lifts up. So these are a few things to look at to ensure that you're doing it right. But otherwise, if you have the good, nice control and then be able to do this 10 to 12 repetition, 1 to 2 set of this, that means your knee is starting to get ready to be able to jog and absorb that amount of force. Another one would be you can hold on to a pulley. Let's use this area. So just being in this sort of a position and then trying to do a knee touch or a knee tap up there towards the wall. While you're doing this, the knee is not falling in going in different direction. Then that's another indicator of the knee to have that terminal sort of an extension while locking and then bending down without having to lift up. That means your ankles also got that mobility. So it's a good mobility test. But after that, what I really like to test is some shock absorption. So very important is that oftentimes people are told to say that, hey, 12 weeks gone, now just go for your 10 minutes of jog and then see how it feels. However, may not be what I have tried, I've seen with a couple of my different advices that I've given. What has always worked is on and off of jog and brisk walk as opposed to just direct jog. So for example, I'd suggest people to be able to jog for 15 seconds and then 15 seconds of a brisk walk. If they could tolerate that 15 seconds of jog, no problem. And then doing about, let's say 10 sets of 10 to 15 seconds of these jog, that would account to almost 3 minutes of that jog during that period, alternating between jog and walk. And if they could do that the next day, 24 hours later, they wake up, there is no increased swelling in that knee, no increased inflammation, they're still able to move that knee well, not extreme soreness of any sort, that means the knee is ready to be able to tolerate more jogging, and then increased speed, increased intensity, increased and can do this consistently as well. So for the shock absorption, one thing that we can do is in this sort of a position, you'd want to jump and then see how your knee is able to absorb that force. While you're doing this, what we want to be looking at is that the knee is not falling back, or the athlete is very afraid or anxious of going into a down position. They would just want to stop here as opposed to be able to go down, or the butt goes back like this in order to again alleviate or decrease amount of force that could go on the knee. So that few reps of this test, and then a progression of that would be same thing from this position. You'd want to do that and then see if you're able to stabilize this. If the knee tweaks or it feels very unstable or unsecure, then you may not be ready for the jog just yet. So yeah, here are a few tests that I like to do. I would highly recommend to do this in under supervision of a physiotherapist or another clinician that you are working alongside, so that they can observe about how you're feeling. However, these are the tests that you could also do it by yourself as well, and see how you feel about mentally, and then confidence factor, to be able to see how can you get back to be able to jog, which is a precursor to running and then other athletic activity that you want to be doing. ACL rehab can be hard, but with the right advice and right help, it can be done.